record, and then I'm going to pop you guys on mute. But for any reason, if you stop hearing me or whatever, just give me a shout. Cool. Okay, so I just want you to come to a standing position. This is quite weird that you can't see me. So come to a standing position. Doesn't really matter. Just come to stand and then close your eyes and just kind of like, let your body kind of, almost like, there was a Canadian show where these mannequins would kind of like come to life and turn off. But imagine you're a robot and you're just turning off your power and your kind of head's maybe a little bit slumped, and just kind of find a standing position. So not really aware of your body, not really activating anything, just quite literally the architecture of your body, so the bones are supporting you. Just kind of feel into that. Notice where the weight distribution is on the feet. Notice perhaps what muscles are naturally shutting off, what muscles are maybe completely letting go. If anybody is logging in a little bit later, on my screen is going to be off the whole time. Just trust your own intuition here. And just kind of start to notice the sounds, maybe how you're feeling. Maybe if you're feeling really tired, what are the kind of sensations on the face? Does anywhere feel like puffy, or maybe you can still feel the lines of the pillows and the blankets kind of creased into your skin. And we're going to work from the very bottom of the body. And I want you to imagine that there's like little light switches. Okay, and these link to all the nerves around the body. And you're just going to very slowly start to turn these on. So just bring all of your awareness into the pinky toe on both feet. And I just want you to imagine that you're turning a little light switch on, and just feel the pinky toe. You might even wiggle it a little bit. Just feel it kind of come to life. And then slowly move along all the toes, turning on the light switches. It might be a bit of a challenge to move them individually. And once you get to the big toe, just wiggle the toes a little bit. So just kind of move all the toes. So you're trying to isolate and focus just on the toes. And then move to the ball of both feet and switch on the light switch there. And maybe just kind of feeling the pressure in the ball of the foot, maybe centralizing the weight if you're kind of rolling to the inside or the outside. And then start to switch on the ball, or the heel rather, of the foot. Maybe feel yourself pressing a little bit harder into the heel. And then turn on the light switches of the medial and lateral arch, so the inner arch and the outer arch of the foot. And then maybe just kind of move the whole foot. So just kind of feeling that awareness along the foot. And then feeling into the front of the shin. Feeling into the back of the shin. Good. And then start to feel into the knee. So just feeling into the knee here. And then see if you can squeeze the knee and release the knee. Squeeze the knee and release the knee. So just kind of working that awareness, that attention up the leg. And then start to bring some awareness into the front of the thigh. And then into the back of the thigh, so the more of the hamstring area. And maybe seeing if you can twitch some of those muscles. Other muscles in the body might react, but that's fine. And then bring some awareness into the right glute, so the right butt cheek, and just see if you can isolate or move just the right butt cheek. Maybe seeing if you can squeeze it and isolate it. Don't worry if you can't. And then move your awareness into the left butt cheek, the left glute. And then give the whole butt a nice little squeeze, waking it up. Our glutes actually can be quite lazy, so it's a really good practice to try to wake them up. And then bring your awareness into the front of the pelvis, so the right hip and the left hip. And then just bring your awareness into the whole lower part of the body, from the hips down. And you might even move the legs a little bit. You might bend a knee and then the other. Just feeling the whole lower half of the body alive. Upper half of the body still quite like no power, nothing kind of switching on there. And then start to bring your awareness up into the abdomen, into the belly. Just kind of turning on the light switches there. Moving your awareness into the rib cage, the sides and the back. And then into the front of the chest. And I want you to just take 5 deep breaths here. And I want you to bring as much awareness into that thoracic chamber, that chest, as you can. Switching on the light switches of the left and the right collarbone as well. Just kind of feeling that whole thoracic chamber waking up. And then moving your awareness into your right shoulder, turning on the switches there, and then into the left. And if those shoulders are kind of rolling forwards, I now want you to kind of roll them back. Light switches are on, finding a little bit of a taller pose. And imagine each light switch of the vertebrae are being switched on, and see if you can like extend the vertebrae. So standing a little bit taller, a little bit prouder. Turning on the light switches of the bicep and the tricep of both arms, the elbows, the forearms, and then turning on the wrists. Moving your awareness into pinky fingers, seeing if you can maybe swivel or twitch the pinky finger. Ring finger, middle finger, index finger, and thumb. The back of the hand and the front of the hand. And just start to flick the fingers, move the arms, move the shoulders, feel all that life coming into those arms. Taking a nice inhale, roll the shoulders back, turn the palms to face forwards, and stretch the fingers as if there's like laser beams coming out of them, and just really feel those fingers come to life. Nice, arms hanging by the sides of the body. And then feel the throat switch on and the back of the neck switch on. Feel the jaw switch on and maybe clench and unclench the teeth, and eventually just let the jaw be nice and soft. Right cheek, maybe you give it a little squeeze. Left cheek, lower lip, and upper lip. Maybe puckering the lips, waking them up. Right nostril, left nostril, tip of nose, bridge of nose. If you've got the talent of flaring the nostrils, give it a go. Wake them up, squidge the nose. Right eye, right eyebrow, left eyebrow. Wake up the muscles of the face, the forehead, and just kind of move the face around, waking up all those little muscles. Think about a little bit of face yoga. If you did that face yoga class, maybe do a nice big yawn, open the mouth, smile, just wake up the nerves in the face. Right ear, left ear. If you're very talented, maybe you can move those ears. And then all the way to the crown of the head. And then just give the whole body a little shake, wake it up, a little dance, whatever you want to do. Just feel that body waking up. Nice work, guys. So take a couple more movements, swinging the arms, whatever feels good to you. And then you're going to make your way onto your bum. And we're going to do a series of about 5 different types of meditation today. None of them are going to be painfully long. I think we'll probably do about 5 minutes on each, okay? Some are going to be more challenging than others. I've turned off my camera because I don't want you to connect with technology. Obviously, we're on Zoom, okay? If I was leading a class, it would be very different. You might even turn your screen away from you. So if there's any kind of notifications that come up on your screen, you don't see them. Maybe you turn the brightness of the screen down, or maybe you just turn away from the screen. Any of those, just make sure you can hear me. That's the only thing that's important. The other thing that I want you to make sure is that you're comfortable. So if you struggle to sit on the floor, you can sit against a wall. You can sit on a sofa. Like, I'd rather you start your meditation practice, or maybe you've done some meditation practice before, but we're going to be here for about 20 minutes. So I want you to not feel terribly uncomfortable. I want you to be able to focus on the meditation, not the aches and pains of your knee, your back, etc. So if you need to prop yourself up, do that. So meditation can be a little bit confusing sometimes. We are essentially practicing doing nothing, which can seem counterintuitive. Why would we practice doing nothing? But the point of this is that because of technology, because of our lifestyles, because we just live really zippy lives, we've kind of forgotten how to be. And this is especially apparent in children. I guess it depends on how old you are, but for me, for instance, technology really wasn't a thing. I mean, we had TV, but we definitely didn't have computers, etc. And we had to spend a lot of time being bored. Therefore, we learned how to be. And if you see kids now, gosh, I mean, like basically high school age and younger, they have grown up with technology. They've grown up with this constant kind of being plugged in. And there's a real struggle to just kind of be in yourself, be in your creative mind, and be bored. And this is a real skill. And meditation really, really helps us to do this. One, it helps us to unplug. But two, it just helps us to be in our own skin. So we're being, not waiting. Okay. And sometimes you can really practice this if you go to the doctor's office. So if you're waiting anywhere for any kind of appointment, hair appointment, etc., rather than picking up your phone or a magazine, you could just try to sit, maybe looking around, just being in your own body, not waiting. And I think noticing probably after 30 to 45 seconds, the level of discomfort that you have. And we essentially want to be able to be with ourselves for longer than 30 seconds, for longer than 45 seconds. So we are going to try this for 5 minutes only. I'm not going to give you any kind of task. I'm not going to give you anything to focus on. What I want you to do is just be. Okay, so not thinking about the time, not trying to open your eyes and look for something, just being in your own skin. Okay, I'm going to teach you some different practices, but right now we're just going to notice our level of discomfort and see what it's like. Okay, so just close your eyes, try to get as comfortable as you can so that you're not kind of shuffling and twitching. We want to notice the discomfort in the mind, not so much the physical body when we do this. So closing the eyes, and we're just going to be. Nice. Just start to bring yourself back. Now, one of the things that I really like to do when I practice meditation or mindfulness is to have a journal close by. So, if you do want to go grab a journal or you just want to sit and contemplate, I just want you to either take 30 seconds to just write how that was for you, or just think about it. How uncomfortable were you? What came up for you? What was your mind kind of fixated on? So, sometimes our mind circles around one thing. Do you feel like that created anxiety or agitation? So just take a moment, either just jotting a couple notes down or just contemplating. You can also move your body. Okay. So in between the meditations, feel free to, move into a child's pose or take any kind of posture you want. Before each meditation, I'm just going to chat a little bit. So feel free to move while I chat. I'm just going to give you about 30 more seconds to just think / write. / move. So there's many styles of meditation. The two that we're going to kind of look at today are dharana and dhyana. Okay, so very similar words. One has an R, one has a Y. And dharana is single pointedness. Dhyana is mindfulness. Okay, so with dharana, we're looking at a single pointedness. We're limiting what's happening in our mind, and this helps to build concentration. When we're reading books, when we're studying. So I know a lot of schools now, they're starting to bring in dharana meditation because it helps to concentrate the mind, to help us study and therefore focus on exams, etc. The problem with our minds is we have association. Okay, so if I told you to think about breakfast and breakfast only, okay, you might start with bacon, and then you might move to ketchup, and then you might move to pigs, and then you might move to a farm, and then your brain might go to Kevin Bacon, and then you might start singing Footloose. Okay, so your brain zips all over the place, and this isn't always a bad thing. This is fantastic for creativity. It's what makes us really interesting people. It's a great thing, and we don't want to stop this completely. However, if we all had brains like this and we couldn't stop them from kind of zipping all over the place, we'd be crap at a lot of things. Okay, for instance, driving. I'm sure if you do drive, you've had those moments where the last 20 minutes of your drive, you're like, oh God, I literally don't even know the turns I took, what I saw. And this is when our brain kind of starts to wander. If we did this the whole time we were driving, we wouldn't get anywhere. And so when we do dharana meditation, we are developing this single pointedness. And a really nice way to develop this is with the breath. So we're going to do a 5-minute, it might seem really long, but relatively quick meditation. And all you're going to do is you're going to focus on the single pointedness of your breath. Now, I like to actually bring in a bit of a mantra when I do this. So your mantra could be in and out. Inhale, exhale. Hot, cold, whatever you want those two words to be. And when you inhale, you can say that word. And when you exhale, not out loud, just in the mind. And when you exhale, say the other word. Now, you don't have to use a mantra, okay? And you could use something like positivity, negativity, or, positivity and then release, whatever you want it to be. If you don't want to use any kind of mantra, just see if you can keep your mind focused on the breath. Okay, so I'm going to start the time now. Get yourself nice and comfortable again. Close the eyes, settle or still the body. Bring your awareness to your breath. And if you want to use a mantra, bring it in now. And as soon as you notice the mind wander, don't beat yourself up about it. Okay, just guide it back and focus on the breath again. You may have to do this 20 times during the 5 minutes. Nice. And then just kind of bringing yourself back in, letting go of the mantra, letting go of the focus on the breath. And again, if you want to jot down some notes, go for it. If you need to move the body, go for it. Maybe just kind of reflecting. Did you find it easier to have a focus? Or was it more difficult to have a focus? Did you find the first meditation easier when you could just be rather than being told to stay with one thing? So just kind of having a little contemplation or jotting some notes down. So again, you can keep moving, keep writing while I chat to you. So dhyana is being mindful, being present. So we, again, we can fixate on the past and we can obsess about the future. Okay, different forms of depression and anxiety are often linked to not being able to stay present. And this is called vipassana as well. And it's the ability not only to be present, but to be present without judgment. And this is really important. And I think a lot of us can be, critical and judgmental, not always to others, but often to ourselves. I know I can be. I really, if I say something stupid or if I upset someone or, in any kind of way, and this can happen with our work as well. If you manage other people, we all make mistakes. And sometimes the people we're the most critical to and the most judgmental to are ourselves. So the previous meditation, it helps us to create concentration and to stay mindful. So you might think, God, well, these two types of meditation, they're polar opposites. One's trying to get me to fixate on one thing, and the other's just telling me to stay present and look around or notice things. And what's nice about dhyana is that you don't have to do this with your eyes closed. So you can practice dhyana meditation while you make a tea, while you drive, while you go for a walk. I think walking meditations are just absolutely divine. Trying not to always listen to a podcast or always be plugged into music or always on your phone, just be present. And so these two types of meditation really complement each other because dhyana helps us to stay concentrated, helps us to stay focused, where dhyana helps us to be mindful and present, staying focused in the present moment. And so our attention, and you probably all know this already, is commodified. There are all these different businesses, all these different platforms that are vying for our attention, and they make money the longer they hold our attention. Okay, our attention is directed by others. And I think all of us probably don't want to have our attention and our minds be commodified because they're ours. So meditation is crucial for our autonomy. And if that, bar nothing else, it's, a massive reason to practice meditation because it gives you control, it gives you power, it gives you empowerment over your own mind. Okay. How many of us have picked up our phone, started scrolling, started, going on different apps, and we've completely forgotten why we picked up our phone in the first place? That is those apps, etc. They're commodifying our attention. So we're going to do this one for only 3 minutes because you might go through the body scan quite quickly. But what I want you to do, and you can do this with your eyes open, you don't have to have your eyes closed. You might even look at the different body parts, but you're going to do a mindful body scan. So kind of similar to what we did at the beginning, but I want you to be really present in your own body. Now, you don't have to work from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top. You might seek out a sensation. And when you feel a sensation in your body, kind of be present in that until a different part of the body, calls your attention. Or you can work from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top. So all I want you to do is stay present in your own body without judgment. Okay, so that's a really important part of it. So not having judgment, not being like, oh God, every time I sit down, my lower back really hurts. Just observe it without judgment and then move on to a different part of the body. So I'm going to start the time again. So scanning through the body, staying as present as you can. Eyes can be open or closed. sorry, and bringing yourself back again. Again, just kind of noticing how that was. Did you find it easy to connect to certain parts of the body, really difficult to connect to other parts? Did you wander completely away from it? Sometimes connecting to ourselves is the hardest part. So if I asked you to maybe focus on a cup of tea or an object, that might be easier than focusing on ourselves. And this is a type of meditation that brings an intimacy with ourselves, which is really, really important. Because we do have a disconnect, and we need to build in that intimacy so we understand how we're feeling. So again, just kind of jot some notes down, take a bit of movement. We've got one style of meditation left. So I'll just chat to you about that before we get going. And this style of meditation is something that helps to build what's called cognitive flexibility. Doesn't necessarily sound that easy to understand, but it really is. It's cognitive is, our ability to understand or think or process, and flexibility is this idea that we're not stuck. Okay, and so we can move from one situation to another, and we are awake to what is happening now, again without judgment. This is really important, and this is how life is now. But things change, and I think this is a really important lesson in meditation, that nothing is permanent, and that we're not having an argument with reality. So when something happens, we're not saying, no, I'm not going to believe that, or we're arguing with what is happening, because we're just never really going to win. And if these kind of things happen in your brain a lot, like, why is this happening to me, or life's not fair, or everything goes wrong for me, when we develop cognitive flexibility, it helps us to move away from this kind of woe is me victim behavior or thinking. And the world and your reality will change, and life will get flipped. I think this is really important to understand, is that, nothing is permanent. Everything will kind of slip through our fingers, whether we want it to or not. And, we won't be here forever. The people we love and care for, sadly, won't be here forever. That is just the cycle of life. But sometimes we get really fixated. And we don't practice this cognitive flexibility. So when something does happen, we're setting ourselves up for trauma, which can be sometimes really intense. So a meditation that I love practicing, and it's really, really easy, is I just call it now what, or and what. And I always kind of imagine myself being like Jay-Z or Beyonce and kind of like shrugging or brushing off my shoulders when I do it. But it's quite simple. It's just, as you notice a thought come up, okay, it could be, I've got an itch on my knee, or, oh God, I've got this meeting today, or, anything that comes up, you're just simply going to say to that thought, to yourself, now what? And you're going to let go of that and wait for the next thought to come. And ideally, what we're waiting for, what we're trying to create, is this distance between those thoughts, or this ability to let go of them. And the same thought might come back again and again. And this is especially true if you're someone who suffers with anxiety, or if you're particularly stressed. Okay, this kind of cyclical thinking, and that you're not able to let go of it. This is also a really good meditation if you suffer with OCD, or intrusive thoughts. That's a really good one as well. So we're going to just do this one for 5 minutes. It's the last meditation that we're going to do. So get yourself, nice and cozy. If you want to lie down for it, go for it. So again, all you're going to do is, as a thought arises, you're just going to simply say, now what? If you want to add a little brush of your shoulder, a little shake of your shoulder, go for it. And we're just going to do this for 5 minutes, and that'll be the end of our meditation practice. So setting yourself up, noticing the first thought, and then practicing letting it go. Nice work, guys. Slowly just start to bring yourself back into the present moment. Shaking it off, waking